just sit down with the family if you're married. If you're not, then just sit down with yourself or your cat or your frog or whatever you got, and make a little pie chart together. You know, your frog's going to be like, well, I want some more flies to eat and a bigger tank to stay in. But then you got...
And here we go down a rabbit trail.
Okay, how's it going, guys? So we just recently found out that we are going to be receiving, you ready for this?
Okay.
$5,600 for our stimulus check. That's so crazy. Now, you think we would have already known this because one of our best friends, Steve Ram, he has his own YouTube channel where he does breakdowns and keeps us up to date with the news. And he's been posting about it and talking about it, but we've just been so busy we never actually did the math in terms of $1,400 per kid, right?
Yeah, I kept hearing 1,400, and I was thinking that was like for the whole family. I never processed just multiplying that. So that's a big difference for us.
Right. So we've been having talks in our family about how are we going to spend this. Now, if you're like us, you're probably thinking, okay, this is exciting. Your first thought is, woohoo, you know, like spending spree. And then like the responsible side of your brain says, now, wait a minute, like, what am I going to, I need to just, you know, think this through and make sure I spend it wisely, because $5,600 is a lot of money. I don't know how many, depending on how many kids you have, but it's a lot of money.
That goes a long ways.
Right. So we just wanted to share with you our thoughts. Of course, you know, it's your money, so you just do it, whatever you're going to do with it. But we thought maybe if we would share with you our thoughts, it might give you some inspiration, some ideas. So maybe it'd be helpful first to talk about what not to do, how not to spend the $5,600, right? So we have some thoughts first. This is what came to our mind was what we don't want to do is we don't want to take this opportunity of like, wow, because nobody's ever, when in your life is anybody ever going to gift you this amount of money again, right? So yeah. So we don't want to use it and spend it on things that are just going to add a bunch of clutter to our house. Things that are going to just, we're going to look down 3 months from now and just be like, oh, that's just kind of junk now.
Yeah.
Or things that are going to buy us happiness that's going to be very
short term.
Exactly, short lived. And a lot of the purchases that we make as a society, that's what they end up being. You know, it's like you get that shiny new toy or that new video game or that new whatever your hobby is, you know.
We know about this personally because we just set out a bunch of stuff on the curb of stuff that we've bought over the years and just junk. Like, you realize it brought maybe like a little bit of happiness, but...
And we're on that journey of minimalizing. So it's like we're throwing stuff out and we're like, why do we pay so much money for this stuff? Like, it's actually taking away value from our lives in the long run rather than adding value. So think about that in terms of, is what I'm buying or is what I'm going to spend money on, is it truly adding long-term value to my life, or is it just junk that's going to be weighing me down? Is this something that's going to keep on giving or keep on being a blessing, or is it going to be something that I look back later and I'm like, well, there went that $5,600, there went that $1,400.
Yeah. This is a very rare opportunity, a very rare time, so it's best to use wisdom.
Right. So having said that, one of my first instincts after the initial woohoo moment, you know, shopping spree went away, was, okay, how can we invest this? How can we put it in some stocks or some mutual funds or etc.? Because here's a couple of thoughts. One is, I don't know if it bothers you guys, but you know, I was raised that like somebody has to be paying for something. You know, that's the way that I was raised. Like, there's no free, nothing's really free, right? So like, we're giving out all this money, like, who's paying for it? You know, like, where is this coming from? And I don't know if there's really any good answers out there other than our children and our children's children. Like,
insert clip.
There's a meme about that. Maybe we'll put it on here if we can. I don't want to get copyright struck though. But there's a Christian song that talks about the blessing of God being upon your children and their children. And then someone took that clip and then they made a meme out of it saying like, who's paying for this stimulus check? It's like, well, and they just put your children's children. So they might not like pay for it directly in terms of they're going to get a bill, but how would they pay for it? It'd be like in terms of economy, inflation, right? So what can we do? Like, if we just buy, like, if we go out and buy like a large screen, you know,
Target,
or whatever, just some sort of electronic device. If we do that, the things we're going to buy are going to depreciate in value, and then it's not going to help our kids out. I want to also say, when I was a young man, my grandfather, who he passed away a few years ago, he would have been 100 yesterday, actually. But one of the things that he did for each of us children is he had set aside $10,000 for each of us. He had invested money, he had saved, and we didn't even know it because he didn't make a big deal about it. But when we got ready to go to college, that money was waiting for us when we turned 18 to help us get through college. And then that paid, like when you and I got married, my college was already paid for. I just did community college, but he had set us up to be able to have a head start. So that's really something for us, is that we want to help our children be able to have a head start and be able to be financially stable. So now obviously we're not going to be able to do everything for them, but at least to get them off, get them off and running, get them off the ground. So we want to take a portion of this money and invest it. So we're not financial advisors by any stretch of the imagination. I don't really know what I'm doing, but
this is just the decision that we've made on, like, to the best of our ability for our family.
Exactly. But if you just do at least a few small Google searches on stocks and mutual funds, you can find either some low risk or some high risk. I'm really big on cryptocurrency right now. You can buy some Bitcoin, and I just think that's going to keep going up. I like my tech stocks like Tesla and whatever. I think those are just still going to be going up. So we're going to take a portion of that. And again, I can't really tell you what to put it in. You have to do your own Googling on that. You can maybe take some of the things that I mentioned if they interest you. But we want to take a portion of that and invest it.
For sure.
And that way we can hopefully look back later 5 years from now and say, okay, this money that even if they have to pay for it via inflation, at least we took a portion of it. We could tell our kids, look, that stimulus check that you're paying for today, we put some of it and invested it and it appreciated. Now we got some money for you.
Yeah, you can take that money and set it aside, but then it's just sitting there doing nothing. So why not invest it,
Exactly. In fact,
research.
Setting your money aside and just leaving it sitting in the bank account is honestly, it's not really that much better. You might as well just spend it on something silly. Not really, it's not that bad, but it's barely better than that because you're not gaining anything. You're just burying it in the dirt, basically. So you want to invest it in something, even if it's just like a mutual fund or something. You can just Google, like, what's a good, safe mutual fund to invest? I promise you'll get thousands of people, thousands of results for that, YouTube videos, articles, whatever. And honestly, just long term, even if you invest it, if you don't know what you're doing, if you find just a good, solid mutual fund, then it's gonna earn something over time, even if it's 5%, 10%.
So the next thing that we are planning on doing with the money is buying something that adds value to our family. And that for us is we are planning on buying some bicycles and like a trailer for the kids, because it's getting springtime, summertime, and we want to be outside active with the family. The kids love being outside.
Oh, they really do.
Yeah, so you get that fresh air, that exercise, and you get to go just, go all around and see new trails and stuff. So that's something for us that will add value to our family.
Right, and even though a bicycle is technically going to depreciate in value, it is just an item, but it's not. It's something that does add value, because for me, one of the things about it is it's something that you're going to make memories with your family together. So something like that, even though it's not an investment per se, it is an investment because it's like we're going to have good times with the family. That's that's really the best investment you can make, is in your family and in the just having the good times and the memories together.
And in your health too.
Oh, I didn't think about that aspect of it. Yeah. Absolutely. You're investing in your health. Yeah, that's a big deal. So, for you guys, it might not be a bicycle per se, but that's something you can think about in terms of just like, for example, like I'm just thinking about myself, back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I were to buy like a video game, or even, hate to say it, but even like a guitar or a musical item, that's something that I would enjoy, but it's something that really I'm just going to be spending time by myself. It's just a fun item for me.
Preach it.
We can talk about your stuff too here.
I'm kidding.
We'll go there next.
Got one finger here and 4 pointing back at me.
But those things, even though it's great, but it's really something that I'm going to be spending time in by myself. And so in the long term, adding value, it's not really on the same level as like we buy the whole family bicycles, So it might be different for you, but just you could think of it in terms of that, something that's adding value, building memories as a family, building relationships. So the last item is spend the money on pursuing something that is a dream or a goal, especially if you have a dream that you're pursuing that has the potential to be a source of income, because then your money is producing money. We have a family dream that we're pursuing right now, which is, you're watching it right now. We want to get our YouTube channel, really going. And it's the potential to be something that could be a source of income for us that we could do full time potentially down the road. So one of the things that we're doing is we're buying some better video editing software to help us grow our channel and make the process a little bit more streamlined and productive. But we feel good about that because it's not just an item that we're buying that's going to lie around the house, but this is a dream that we have that we're pursuing and potentially could actually become a source of income. So if you do have a hobby, or for example, I mentioned guitar earlier, well, if I was really, sure that guitar or music was something that I was going to be pursuing that was a source of income, then that might be a wiser purchase. But that's not really where I'm at least at this stage of life right now. So spending money on something that's going to earn you money or help you fulfill that dream, that goal, that passion, that's something that's going to add value to your life. So instead of just watching your money just fly out the window or fly out the door, now you're looking at it as it's like, okay, it's an investment, Yeah. And maybe you do want to take, just a portion, like a small portion of the stimulus check and buy something fun or buy something personal. Not like something wrong with that,
Yeah.
But just having a plan as far as dividing it up. You don't want to look back and like a year from now and be like, where did that money even go? Like, what did I do with it?
Just make sure balance is the key word, I think. Just have the fun money, the investment money, budgeting. Just budget it all out so that it just all doesn't go in one.
Maybe you could even make a little pie chart,
There you
sit
go.
down, the husband and wife, just sit down with the family. If you're married, if you're not, then just sit down with yourself or your cat or your frog or whatever you got, and make a little pie chart together. Your frog's gonna be like, well, I want some more flies to eat and a bigger tank to stay in, but then you got.
And here we go down a rabbit trail.
I want to spend some money and go to the pet store and get a frog. Can I do that? No, I'm talk myself into this. Will that add value to our life?
No.
I'm pursuing a dream. Okay.
I've had frogs before.
You have?
Yes.
Well, I've never had that experience. Why would you rob me of having that experience?
We are one. Okay. Live off my experience.
Ribbit. Like or comment below if you think we should get a frog with our stimulus check.
Don't give the video thumbs down.
Yeah, I know,
give it a thumbs up if we shouldn't get a frog.
Oh man. So I think that's all joking aside. I think that's of course one thing we didn't mention, of course, is if there's somebody that you're wanting to give to or be a blessing or donate. Obviously, that's another great thing as well. If you know somebody that has a need, the Lord, He said, of course, it's more blessed to give than to receive. So that could be another area that you want to consider in your pie chart, your allocations. But I think that's pretty much what we're approaching it with. That's pretty much how we're approaching it, and hopefully this gives you guys some ideas. So when you're whatever it is, your 2,800 or your 5,600. Someone did tell us about a family that has 12 kids, and I did the math on that real fast, and I was like, hey, 12 kids plus 2 adults, so that's 14. It's like something more like $19,600. So if you want to go out and just have some more kids really fast and try to get rich, maybe now's the only time where it's actually going to be financially beneficial to do so. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Comment below. Let us know what you're planning on doing with your stimulus check. Let us know if you have some ideas that we didn't think about, and let us know if we should get a frog.